This is big breaking emergency news. We are now seeing police announce that emergency services are going to be permanently taken offline inside the United States. This is a major security threat and a major problem for our country, and police are now announcing that they will not be able to, and they will not be responding to a multitude of different crimes. If you call 911, they are not going to respond. That's what's now being reported by these police departments, and this is spreading as well. This is spreading, and these cities that are actually doing this, these are actually sanctuary cities as well. So this is a plan. They are now announcing that the police are not going to respond for theft, harassment, criminal mischief, and burglar alarms. All right, they are saying that they are not going to be responding to these things, and potentially even more things. They are going to be filtering 911 calls, and these emergency services are being taken offline right now. This is causing a major safety issue, and police are warning that they are not going to be able to help you in an emergency. All right, so at the same time that this crime is spiking, we are seeing a major crime wave across the country. They are now announcing that the police are not going to be responding to these crimes, and they're issuing this warning to the public. All right, and this is a planned event by our governments and by our leaders. All right, they are defunding the police, and they're also allowing criminals to be unleashed onto our public. So let's get into this news here, and really quick, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated. Let's get into this news here. You can see here it says Pittsburgh police just made this major announcement for the city of Pittsburgh. The city of Pittsburgh is now in danger, and this is also a sanctuary city as well, right? But the city of Pittsburgh has now announced that they will not send officers to certain emergency calls, and they will redirect it to the telephone unit, right? So if you call and you are in Pittsburgh, I would not go to Pittsburgh right now, because they are not going to respond if you are dealing with a multitude of these different crimes. They are just not going to respond. They will just send you to the telephone unit, and you will be able to make a report there. That's what's going on in Pittsburgh. So it says here, quote, police officers in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania will no longer respond to lower priority calls that the Bureau says do not require an in-person response, and will instead redirect them to its telephone reporting unit. Officers will still respond to, quote, in-progress emergencies, quote, where a person may need medical aid, domestic disputes, calls with evidence, or where the mobile crime unit will be requested to process a scene, the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police said in a statement announcing the changes. The telephone reporting unit will field calls for theft, harassment, criminal mischief, and burglary alarms. That's what's being reported. The change went into effect on Monday as part of a sweep of operational adjustments at the Bureau, meant to allocate its resources in a more efficient way to better serve citizens, Chief Larry Socrato said in a statement. All right, so he is announcing this as a more efficient way to better serve the citizens, a better way to serve them, but they are not going to be responding to their emergency calls. Right? This is insane, and this is the future that they are setting up. They're allowing this crime to get so bad. They're defunding the police. They're pulling the police presence back, not even prosecuting crimes. So in response, something big could happen, and then we're going to see a major clampdown. We're going to see a major clampdown, potentially military and the National Guard having to be deployed to deal with these situations because they get so bad. And we've seen that. We see that in New York City right now. The National Guard is guarding the hotels in New York City. I broke that. I was one of the first people really talking about that and made it a major issue maybe 6 8 months ago now that the National Guard was deployed to guard these hotels in New York City, and it's also happening in Boston, Massachusetts as well. All right, and they want this to happen in more cities. This is a sanctuary city as well. Pittsburgh is a sanctuary city, and they're announcing openly, we're not going to respond to theft, harassment, criminal mischief, or even your burglary alarm. All right, if you have an alarm system on your home, there's no point of even having it at this point, because the police will not even respond. The police will not even respond. That's what they are actively announcing for Pittsburgh right now. And citizens are outraged. Here is what citizens are saying. They said, quote, "It's kind of the whole point of the police force, isn't it? You know, when you call them, they're supposed to be there," says resident Ray Matthews. He said, quote, "That's the whole point. If you call and they don't come, what's the sense in having them at all? You know what I mean?" All right, that's what Ray said, and he's right. What's the point if the police force is not going to respond to these crimes, even theft? They're openly announcing, we're a sanctuary city. We're not going to deport anyone. We're going to give you money. We're going to facilitate this. And we're also not going to prosecute theft in our city and not respond. If you're in the middle of something, they're not coming. Stores, they're not going to respond. We're already seeing this all over the place, these crime rings taking over these stores and running in and causing mass theft, these theft rings all over the country, right? And also, this is what Councilman Andy Coghill said on the issue. He said, quote, "When it comes to harassment and things of this nature, you better have a police officer there," Coghill said. Quote, "That's what the public expects. That's what I expect of our city." All right, so even harassment, it's a good point too. They're not even going to respond for you being harassed by somebody, apparently. This is insane. All right, and we have also lawmakers in Pennsylvania. They are warning that this sanctuary city status needs to be banned. All right, they're saying this is a major issue. They're saying it's a national security risk having Pittsburgh and all these other sanctuary cities, and he is trying to get them banned statewide inside of Pennsylvania. All right, this is what lawmaker Warner said, Rep. Warner out of Pennsylvania. He said, quote, "We have a national crisis on our hands." Quote, "It's not just Pennsylvania. I'm trying to do our part in what we can do in Pennsylvania, but we have a national crisis at the border right now." Right? So this is a national crisis, a national security crisis as well, and it needs to be shut down. And at the same time, they're announcing we are not going to prosecute crime in these major cities that already have extremely high crime rates. Right? So just more excuse, more confirmation. I've been making these videos, get out now, get out of the cities now. All right, it's true. For years, been telling you guys you need to get out of these major cities, get away from them, because they are being collapsed on purpose. They are allowing this to happen. It's a engineered collapse of our major financial systems and financial centers in these economies and in these cities, right? These used to be they still are extremely wealthy and lucrative, nice places, but they are slowly being changed, and this is part of it. They're allowing these things to happen. Now the police are not going to respond to these emergencies. If you call the police, you're being harassed, somebody's stealing your stuff, they could be committing all four of these things and more. These are just the four main things that they're highlighting, but they're going to be fielding and screening tons of different reports. Your alarm went off for your home. They're not coming. Don't worry about it. What's even the point of having these things now? What's the point of having 911 if they're not going to respond when you need them? All right, and this used to be, I remember this even when I was a kid, you would see all the time. You still see this very rarely sometimes, but you'd see this all the time, where a police officer would be pulled over and helping somebody with change their tire, right? Just simple things like that. If they're on the side of the road, they're pulling over, helping them. And we don't see that anymore. All right, we don't see that anymore. They're cutting back. They have way less police officers. They're defunding them. And they're also just saying we're not going to respond. It's just a total shift there, allowing this collapse to happen and accelerating it, especially in these sanctuary cities where they have taken over the judicial system as well. Right? So please hit it up for me down there, guys. Make sure you're getting prepared. Get out of these cities. Get on some land. Start growing some food. Start homesteading. Let me give you guys an update really quick for you guys. All right. We got a bunch of chicks. All right. Chick update. Quick chick update. We have more chicks actually coming tomorrow morning because we just needed a few more. We were thinking about it. We're like, we need a few more for the project we're working on. We're trying to hatch out these chicks. A few breeds of chicks. We're trying to get them going and really have a full steady line of them going. All right. So that's what we're working on. We're working on gardens outside, all this big stuff, right? Building chicken tractors, chicken coops. This is what we're working on right now. And this is what you need to be working on too. Get it out of these cities and be working on your homestead, being sustainable, being off the grid as much as possible. So thank you guys so much. And I hope you have a big old blessed day.